Thank you for that. So, last week I was traveling to Massachusetts to preach, filling in for a friend of mine who goes on sabbatical for the whole month of July. So he's just gone from the church, different things. I don't know if I would get there, but I get it, okay? And as I was traveling, I kept getting hit with delay after delay after delay. Traveling in right now is really not where it's at
Mm.
for so many different reasons.
Recording in progress.
All right, and so as I was sitting there, I was sitting there in the
Uh-oh.
airport.
Sorry.
What I started thinking about was my ministerial journey and how that there were so many times where I felt delayed. But the delay, or rather, not delay, but the delayed time was not a punishment. It was actually time for preparation.
Hmm.
And with that, I started thinking, wow, God, with all that you are doing in our church, that all that you're doing in our midst, I don't want to neglect the responsibility of preparation all because we're playing the game of trying to keep up. All right. Truth be told, when I stood up that Sunday morning some 8, 9 months ago and said, we are going to bring in 125 new disciples in a year. After I had said that, I sat down and I said, "Oh my God, what was I thinking?" You know, that's a lot of people, right? But the truth is, I spoke on faith, but it's what I had already seen in my spirit. And and now we have done it, and that's great, but where do we go from here? Right?
Hmm.
So people development is the priority as we continue on throughout this year and forward. What does people development mean? That means that we are moving even deeper into discipleship, right? So thank God that I get to build upon our discipleship series, but I want to give you even more practical tips on discipleship, practical tips for your ministry. All right. That's my goal here. Really, that is my goal. I want us to get to the point when I'm looking around and I'm like, it's no ministers here. And it's not because, right, you all have left, but it's because you're all out on assignment. All right, that's the goal. Remember, for those who might be new, you don't know my background. I grew up at Mount Peace Baptist Church in Raleigh when it was booming, when the church had over 2,000 members. And at that time, we had 55 associate ministers. Let that sink in. 55 associate ministers. And our ministerial trainings were basically down to a book. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. All I'm saying is what I'm saying is that that does not prepare you. All right. And especially does not prepare you for what's
Hmm.
happening now. So today and these meetings going forward, I'm dedicated to giving you playbook so that you can be ready to launch out into all the ministry that God has for you. All right. So with that said, I just want us to get a little pulse. Maybe I can get a couple of people. How do you measure spiritual impact in your current ministry? How do you measure spiritual impact in your current ministry?
I guess because nobody came forward, Pastor, I'll start.
All right.
I think for me, My measurement is being able to be in a position to to see lives change, being in a position to have an impact of effectiveness where you could see lives are being changed and being able to help people, guide people through, especially the beginning stages of Christianity, of getting closer with God. So it's more about the effect that I have on other people rather than what effect it has on me. Whereas, and I'd measured more on just being able to be used, and just like what James is talking about, um, going be seeing not seeing my needs, but seeing the needs of others, and my impact will be measured on being able to meet needs of others and being available to do that.
Mm, that's good.
Pastor Ely.
Wait, you're muted. I think you're muted. Wait a minute. No, you're not. There you go. I'm sorry. There you go.
Pastor Ely.
Yeah.
I think for me, meeting the people one on one where they at in my ministry. I know a lot of people, but I do real good one on one talking to people and trying to meet the needs and see can I help them in my ministry. I really do care about people and their needs.
That's really good. I see Reverend Jones says feedback from those who go through my new members class. Oh yeah. They're reaching out beyond the class, questions that come. Yeah, that's good. See, Dr. Marion says responses from those I share the word with others that the word has been meaningful in their circumstances. Okay, good. Good, 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 good.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll echo Pastor Eli. I'll echo those as well. I would say feedback from others with them and involvement in the ministry.
yeah,
As far as the single seniors ministry, of course, we have wondered why we don't get more of the men attending in the church. I don't know if we need more clarity. It's been announced who it's for. You know, the widow, widower, never married, divorced, and so forth. But uh, I think their interaction in the ministry as well, their willingness to contribute and use their gifts, uh, that means a lot.
yeah,
And as far as Sunday school and things of that nature, I think attendance and just being told that they are getting more understanding and the encouragement that they give me to help to motivate me to know that I'm doing what God has assigned me to do.
that's good.
And I would just add to what everyone else has said. For me, I just like to see change, whether it's, hitting a milestone or just moving an inch from where you were. For me, seeing change um, in any sense lets me know that, an impact has been made.
Mm, that's so good. That's so good.
Pa- Pastor Eva, I think perhaps I would echo that as well. But I think the measure of the impact of my ministry is as I speak and I talk to people and witness to them, is to seeing them come back and to really be committed, to have a sense of commitment to the faith, and to see the growth in within them.
Yes.
uh that to me is a measurement that I feel God is just impounding and impacting. It's good to share, but when you can see the growth in individuals and how they become committed, fully committed to the process of their spiritual growth, I think that's how I measure it.
Yeah.
Is commitment. We people will say, "Yeah, I love the Lord, and I do this and I do that," but are you committed?
Yeah.
Have you fully committed yourself? Have you become? And I know it's a growth process of the sanctification, but are you growing? And when I say growing, are you listening? Are you? I mean, really listening and hearing,
Yeah.
and then applying to
Yeah.
your life. So yeah, I see that, and that makes me think, you're doing the right thing that God would have you to do, and you know that's to see growth, to see spiritual growth.
Got you. I watch a lot of content and I also go to conferences, gatherings, all of that a lot around church stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so. And a conference that I just left from in Elon called Transformation Conference. It is really centered towards pastors of small to mid-sized churches, more so rural contexts. Excuse me, rural contexts. And a story was shared about there was this pastor. He was preaching. He was like, "Hey, my goal is to get all these souls saved on this night." And he preached, he preached, he preached, he preached, and only one soul came. And he went
That's impactful.
and he went and he felt like he was a failure. Well, we understand, right? And we always say, hey, one soul comes, all of heaven rejoices. Well, some years later, he found out that the soul that came to Christ through his preaching was that of Billy Graham.
There you go.
And from there, that one sermon, that one message that touched Billy Graham at the time when he wasn't the Billy Graham, his impact in ministry is now innumerable. I really want to encourage us with that you don't know who you are touching, right? You don't know whose life you are impacting. And so yes, we definitely want to see spiritual growth, right? We want to see change. We want to see all these things, but also be okay if you never see it because you don't know where your growth, where your impact is going. All right. I wanted to start there. So let's go in. I told you I'm giving you full playbook right now because again, I'm sitting in the airport and I'm doing something that I've never done before, but I'm getting an inkling that this will one day become the norm, traveling for the sake of ministry. Thinking about you all, and this is what comes to me beyond the walls, enlarging your ministry impact. All right. So we talked about we talked about how we measure our ministry impact, but something that I want you to just think about, and maybe everybody can give one word. How do you define ministry? Just give me one word. How do you define ministry?
Sharing God's word, sharing God.
Okay. Anybody else got one word?
Could you repeat that, Pastor? Because I was outside by Lawrence and the truck was loud. I didn't hear
I,
what you asked.
how do you define ministry? I see connection, reconciliation, discipling. How do you define
Sharing, sharing.
sharing, serving?
Serving,
Mhm.
serving.
Ministry is serving, yes.
Good, good. All right, cool. So now here's where we're going is growing up, right? I was told that a big part of ministry is preaching. Not true, right? Preaching is a part, not a whole. Now, as ministers, we should be preaching. Okay. As ministers, we should be preaching. And I just want to remind us that the pulpit is a platform, right? It's
Mhm.
not the pinnacle. All right. Pulpit is the platform, is not the pinnacle. Remember that Jesus, he ministered so much more in streets, homes, hillsides, underneath trees, everywhere, more than he did in the temple. I want to contextualize this by kind of giving a story of my early years in ministry. So let's be real. A big thing that exists in church is ageism. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, that's what exists in church. You are either too young or you're too old. I mean, what would y'all agree, or am I out there by myself? Maybe. It's-
Amen, Pastor.
I
Okay.
agree. I
Okay.
agree.
I mean, I'm just trying to make sure. All right. So in my case, I mean, some people still think I'm too young, but it is what it is, right? Like, but and it's funny how even in ministry, somebody can say at 28, I'll be 29 next month, that I'm still too young, but most corporate CEOs are in their late 20s, early 30s. So I don't really understand that. But anyhow, that's the church for you. But anyway, I was really young, right? So I wasn't even 13. And I felt the call for ministry. And what history would only keep hidden is I used to be in my parents' garage all season long preaching, putting messages together, preaching, preaching to the wall. I used my little money that I had, bought a microphone, I had an amplifier, and I would preach and preach and preach hours and hours. If it was hot outside, I would have a little cooler, I would have me some water, some Gatorade, and preach and sweat. If it was, I love the fall because it was perfect temperature. If it was cold outside, I had a heater and I would preach. And I had a little podium and preach and preach. And then I got a chance to preach in church. And then from there, I took that clip, put it online. Someone else saw it. I got an invitation. And then it started replicating. And before you knew it, I was preaching more and more and more. What am I saying? That the expansion and the enlarging of the ministry did not start from standing in the pulpit. It started from the countless hours and tears and talking to God and preparing that I would be ready when the moment came. I used to ask God, why does it seem like I'm being skipped over? Well, why does it seem like nobody sees me? Why does it seem like I don't get the opportunity? But the truth is, even though I thought I was ready, I was not. And it's amazing how every time I've gone deeper in this work, God has opened up wider doors. I really hope y'all following with me. All right. And so I can't encourage you this morning as we're going forward. So here is what I would do. And again, you all have a copy of this. It's in Planning Center or Church Center rather under the resources. So, but take your own notes, do whatever you need to do. Here are some things that I would do if I were building my personal ministry from scratch in 2025. You got to do this. And some of it might seem extra, it might seem a lot. Maybe you have no clue how to do it. Here's a good thing: if you're willing to learn, I'm willing to teach you. All right, let's go. First of all, you got to build credibility. Here's what happens a lot of times: we go out, we become ministers under our churches and all that stuff. And then people might know you in your church, but then nobody else knows you anywhere else. So you have to build credibility. All right. So the first part is your presentation. How are you putting yourself out there to the world? All right. You should invest in some high quality shots, right? One that's more formal, a suit, a robe, whatever you like. One that's like a lifestyle shot, so it's real natural. It might show you laughing, different things like that. And then another shot where maybe you're preaching or maybe you're doing your ministry work in the community. All right. And then I want you to think about whatever you want to look like, however you want to look, that you want to be consistent in your wardrobe. All right. Here's the next part that starts to get us is online. I know we all have different comfort levels with online, but you have to exist online. All right, have to. All right, here's a good starting point. People forget about this, and it's LinkedIn. There are a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn. Sometimes I get DMs about, hey, if you don't mind filling out this survey about such and such with ministry or with church or da 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 da, we would then send you a $25 gift card, $50 gift card. Boom. Or other opportunities that come, or other ministers that are there, or people who are looking for whatever your ministry is, whatever it is that you offer. So get on LinkedIn, right? This puts you as a professional minister. Or even if you are not just in ministry, it puts you as a professional person and you can show both sides of you. Now, here's the big one. This is social media. Again, I'm telling you what I would do if I was starting my ministry from scratch in 2025. Again, we all have different comfort levels, but maybe this will help you. If every time you made a post and you got paid, would you post more? I think most of us would say yeah, right? Who wouldn't like an extra 20, 30, 40, 50 plus dollars a month for posting what you're already doing? Watch this. Facebook, they have a program called content monetization that as long as you have over 500 people on your Facebook, friends, and here's the thing, you don't gotta know them for real. You just connected. It's not a big deal, right? Don't look at it as I don't know you like that. Look at it as you are an opportunity for me to touch your life. All right, that's how you should look at it. They call it friends, but most of those folks are not your friends, right? They're just people in your circle. Well, Facebook, here's what I would do. I would post inspiring morning devotionals or morning posts, right? Questions, pictures from your life, right? Interact with people. And then I would go live or create a video 1 to 2 times a week. And we're going to talk about this, right? This is your pulpit. All right. If you think you have a pastoral call on your life, see if you can be consistent for 90 days with posting 1 to 2 times a week, you teaching, right? You preaching, right? Proclaiming the word. You will build your rhythm, right? You will be able to build your audience. All right. Same thing with Instagram. Take the same pictures, same videos, post them over there. Same thing with YouTube. Take little clips of your sermons, little clips of your teachings online, post them on YouTube with your own name on it, right? So people can find you, so that people can see what you're talking about. You want to talk about things that people are talking about. But TikTok is the one. You can take a 30-second clip and you never know which clip is going to hit, right? You can take a clip and literally every time, I don't even post like I should, but every time I post on TikTok, I get new people who follow me. And now how does that work out for the church? It works out great for the church because people then go follow me online and they see friendship, then they follow friendship, and it goes on and on and on. Literally, one of our guest ministers, Minister Jalen Vernon, who just came here, he took a little clip of him singing, I will bless the Lord. And do you know that that little 1 minute clip of him singing, I will bless the Lord, got over 1 million views online? And it in turn, because people want to go hear his message because of a little clip of singing, it gained our church over 100 new subscribers on YouTube. What does that mean? That's 100 new people from across this country, really across the globe, lots of Africans, right? Across the country and the globe who now know about Friendship Chapel, who are now tapped in to see what we are about and the message that we're teaching. Don't forsake social media. All right. Here's another part. Again, I'm giving you this playbook. Website might not be for everybody, But website definitely gives you more credibility when people are looking into you. You want to buy your name as your domain. So for me, I have www.michaelealy.com or michaelealyjr.com, right? But that might not be your cup of tea. That's cool. There are different blog sites that you can use, and you can do the same thing, and it's free or very, very minimal in price if you want to customize it towards your name or different things like that. All right. Here's the big thing that I want you to get here. If you cannot be found online, it is as if you do not exist. Some of us don't get invited to preach or to share or different opportunities, boards, leadership positions, not because we're bad, but it's because we're hidden, right? There's so much happening in the world, but we're hidden. Let me help you with a couple of things. This really blessed me here. Here's the truth about posting frequency. If you do not post online, you will be forgotten. People are attracted to what others can trust. All right. So it's not about being trendy, right? It's not about doing things, to get attention. It's about being consistent. But then here's the thing that'll really, really bless you. Let this really bless you. I call it the theology of views. Every view is a person that you are reaching for the kingdom, right? Every view, you are expanding the gospel. Every view, you are enlarging your ministry impact. So let's put into great perspective. If you get 300 views on any video, you reach just as many people as we do during the Sunday morning worship experience. I don't, are y'all following me right here? So we're tracking our numbers. In person, we're kind of holding between 215 to 2 of 50, sometimes higher in person. Online, on average on Facebook, we're seeing about 40 people concurrently. And then on YouTube, concurrently, we're seeing about 50 to 60. That's during the service. That's not after the service when people, watch, find it later, all that stuff. So we're seeing about 300 to 325 a week who we reach at 10 o'clock to 11:30. If you get 300 views on a video that you just record real quick on your phone, real quick on your computer, post it, you are reaching the same amount of people. Y'all tracking with me. All right. I'm going to pause there. I know that this might be a lot, but I just kind of want to hear maybe one or two people. Where's your mind right now when you're hearing this?
Pastor, I am with you 100% on this social media thing because I know that um, and I try to post often, and I may not post a lot of videos, but I try to post encouraging, like pictures or sayings or things of that nature. And I have people that hit my inbox saying, what you just posted blessed me. What you just posted is just what I needed. And so I know that, and some people look at social media as people that you don't know, you're exposing your life and exposing, your family to the world. But for me, I share with people what I want them to know,
Mm-hmm.
no more and no less. But I have learned that social media is a tool in my ministry belt.
Yeah.
It is a tool in my ministry belt. So I'm with you 100% as it relates to social media.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts? Good, bad, and different. It's all good.
I think, Pastor, that what you just said opened my eyes to looking at it differently. I never thought about it that way, and what you just said makes sense. And you're right, you are invisible because most of the time you try to be invisible, but I never recognized what you were saying, but how much people could be touched by what you say or how you respond, your photos or your message and stuff like that. But you're all right.
All right.
All right. For me, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. Oh, let's see.
Yeah. I saw there.
I was just gonna let you see me. I don't know what I look like, but anyway. Um but this is for the kingdom. Um for me, it's a mindset change, to be honest. It really is. And when we look at it and you're presenting it now as a tool of ministry rather than a tool of being social, um,
Mhm.
that's a mindset change for me, and I appreciate that. Uh, I need a mentor to walk with me as I go along this part of the journey. I really do. Um, and yeah, that's my take. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else?
I'm okay with what you just said.
Okay.
There's a lot of noise out there. There is a lot of noise out there on social media.
Yeah.
But for a while I had to get away from it as far as being a consumer or posting. I haven't posted in quite some time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's easily to be consumed by that kind of thing when you get out there.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm not opposed to it, but I would proceed with caution.
I got you. So let me speak to that. So, I used to not really post a lot. Believe it or not, I used to really not do it. And technically I'm not posting enough. Technically they say to break through the algorithm, which means the way how social media puts your content out to people, that you should really be posting 5 to 7 times a day. Now I'm not doing all that, not in this season. I just can't. I'm not even really posting 3 times a day. Sometimes I don't post every day, and that's okay. But somebody said this, and it kind of shifted everything. They said if people post any and everything, or what we might call noise, then how much more should we be posting the gospel? That the gospel could never be posted enough. And that helped to kind of inform um where I was, to say, okay, I should go harder, and that's something that I'm working on. All right, let's go to the next part. So moving away from online, here's the thing. If I were, again, starting my ministry today, what I would do, you got to show up. You got to show up. All right, what am I talking about? When was the last time that you built a new ministry connection? If you had to think about it, that's the problem. All right. Here's what I want to give y'all. One of the blessings now, sometimes, and again, if you could just let me speak transparently, sometimes depending on what church you're connected with, eh, eh. All right. One of the blessings about being connected, in my opinion, to the Baptist church and to a credible Baptist church such as Friendship Chapel is that you are able to leverage us as a church. And in being connected to a good pastor, you're able to leverage the name. I'm telling you, as a minister here, who is faithful, who is serving, leverage your church and leverage my name. All right. When people hear Friendship Chapel, smiles come on their faces. Most times, when people hear Michael Ealy, Dr. Enoch Holloway, you're going to get a pretty favorable response. All right. And so leverage those things when you go out. Again, this is what I would do when churches, especially churches who are in our vicinity, right? Right? In our vicinity, attend their revivals, right? So Olive Branch, for example, All right, so thank y'all who came to support me. I appreciate it. Well, one of the things I happened to be standing beside Pastor Wilder, and then both of the Allens were there. I was able to introduce the Allens to Pastor Wilder. What does that do? That makes them safe. That maybe when here they're thinking, oh, maybe we need somebody different for Women's Day. Oh, I met that lady from Pastor Ely's church. I can't think of her name, but let me call her. Right? Or there was another engagement. Reverend Duford came with me. And when he came, I introduced him to the pastor or introduced him to somebody, and then they started exchanging information, right? That's important. That's important. Not because you are trying to push yourself, because you don't ever ask to preach. I think we know that, but I'm gonna just say it for the record. You don't ask to preach, but when you go out and you connect, that's how preaching happens. Reverend Rogers, he went with Pastor Emeritus to Oberlin. He was just there. And then Pastor Young said, hey, what you doing next week? He said, hey, I'm not. He said, come on, preach. He came back and preached the next week. So attend those revivals. Take a Sunday out of the month and say, this is my Sunday to go visit with a church, right? Go to these conferences. All right. When you go, introduce yourself. Don't be weird. Okay. Bring some business cards or be ready to give your number out and get a number. Text them. Say, hey, so nice to meet you. Lock me in. All right. If you have social media, tell them let's connect on social media. Why? Because here's the truth. I've put numbers in my phone before, forgot all about it. But when I connect with people on social media, I see what they're doing, huh? They see what I'm doing, they call. All right. Go and support. When you hear of your other associates preaching, go. Go with them. It's good, right? I don't have a big ego that I need you sitting in the pews. I don't have an ego like that. Go support. That's how you gonna make those connections. All right. Here's another thing. I want you to serve. All right. So of course, you're serving here at Friendship. Everybody's doing that. Thank God for that. What are you doing outside of here? So, what organization are you connected with outside of here? What ministry are you connected with outside of here? Watch this. That is an area of opportunity, but also an area of exposure. Because, because guess what? If you are not careful, you will go and you will serve and you do all this energy and it will be like for nothing. And I'm not saying that we serve to get, I'm not saying that at all, because that's not what serving is. You serve to give of yourself. But at the same time, when you serve, you want to be connected to credible ministries, credible organizations, right? Credible people, because people judge you based on who and what you're connected with. So, for example, in the Wake Missionary Baptist Association, is it perfect? No. Is it always the most exciting? Definitely not. Not to me anyway, not at 29. But you know what it is good for? You get an opportunity, and then from that opportunity, people see you, then they think of you for something else. Example, they wanted me to present on the articles of faith. So I presented on the articles of faith uh, during the last time of our ministers meeting. I kind of forgot about it. Whoops. But right, we made it through. Well, it was good. I just received the invitation to go to a church that I never heard of, never been to, all because I was seen doing the articles of faith. Right? You get what I'm saying? So meetings and gatherings and organizations like that work. They always are looking for people to take on a position. What does that do? That gets your name known, right? Organizations like NAACP or any other civic organization, they're good. You get in the community, especially if they are operating within our community that we are in or the community in which you live in, right? That's how people get to know you. So I really want to encourage you to even stretch yourself and see yourself as a leader outside of here if you don't already. Excuse me, see yourself as that leader that is known in the community, which means you have to see yourself differently. So again, I listen to a lot of stuff, I read a lot of stuff, I watch a lot of stuff. This blessed me. This realization blessed me. You are not just a minister, you are a content creator. Please let that sit. Let that sit on you. Let that sit on you. You're not just a minister, you are a content creator. So, watch this. This isn't just your calling, it's a craft. And craftsmanship takes intentional time, reflection, and repetition to develop. Y'all, I can't tell you how many times I picked up a pen and acted like it was a microphone. I can't tell you how many times, matter of fact, I can. Oh, so here's what my routine looks like throughout the week. On Sunday, after I finish preaching, I go get me something to eat. I go take a shower. I get in my bed by 3, 4 o'clock, and I watch service twice. So I'll skip through the service and then get to the sermon, watch it, let it be for what it is. Then I'll go watch the sermon all over again and say, I could have said this. I could have did this. Oh, what if I had went there? What if I had done that? When I was working during the school system, right here my last year, y'all pray me through because I can't do this no more. In the morning, heading to school, I listen to the sermon. Coming home, listen to the sermon. Every day, I listen to it and I critique myself, not because I'm trying to be a perfectionist, but because every time I step into that pulpit, I realize that souls are on the line. Are y'all following what I'm saying here? So it takes that time. All right. Here's what I would do if I were in your shoes. I would have 3 strong sermons. That's it. You don't need no more than that. You need 3 strong sermons that if I was like, y'all, I made it to church, but the way my stomach is working, I just can't. I can't. It might be a cleanup all over the church. All right. So somebody, I need you to preach. You should be able to stand up in that pulpit, even if it was the song right before. Be like, hold on 1 second, let me pull my sermon out. Or, we in this digital age, you have it on your iPad, have it on whatever. You should be able to stand up in that pulpit and wreck, right? Demolish. Because you have one of 3 sermons. Somebody is like, I thought every time you get an assignment, different things, you should always write a new sermon. Not necessarily, right? Most churches are just like, hey, be spirit led. Cool. I'm gonna be spirit led to one of these 3 sermons. You can always add stuff, take stuff out. But at the end of the day, you need a strong sermon that you can go and you can preach it. When I was not pastoring, I remember one summer I preached one sermon 12 different times. And you know what happened every time? It got gooder and gooder and gooder, right? Right, because I kept adding to it. All right, here's another thing. I will build out one Bible study series, 4 to 6 weeks, which means you have 4 to 6 lessons. All right, that you can teach at a moment's notice. Churches are starting to become vacant. Guess what? If you're willing to go and I've built that relationship, I will sing you and you should be ready. All right. Nursing homes, online. You can teach this stuff, right? You can teach this stuff. Zoom, right? Just Zoom. Say, hey, I'm going to do this series for 4 weeks. I would love for you to join me. Here's a Zoom link. There are people who will support you. You just never asked. you just never asked. Now, get your Zoom account. But guess what? You don't have a Zoom account? The church has a Zoom account. We'll give you the Zoom. so you can do ministry, right? That's what we're here for, to undergird you in the ministry. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that you have what you need to do the ministry that God has for you. All right. Here's the thing, though. I just want to help you stay in your lane. So don't worry about doctrine. Don't worry about a whole bunch of theological debates, especially if you are in somebody else's pulpit. Because what happens is you feel good. Oh, I did da 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 da. And then the pastor got to come back and do cleanup work. And if have to be a cleanup person, you're not ever coming back. Just stick to edification and conviction. You can never go wrong with building people up. You can never go wrong with teaching the truth or the gospel that leads to a change, right? Conviction and change. All right. So that's what I have for you with this thought about the beyond the walls, enlarging your ministry impact. All right. I'm going to pause. Where you at? Share. Share.
I have a question. Is Friendship Chapel represented on the community roundtable in Wake Forest?
I've never even heard of that. I've never even heard of it.
Okay.
What
I
what is it? What is it?
it's different churches and organizations coming together to help and assist people that are going through certain needs, whether it's food or shelter or whatever, you know. It's a group that works together to combine their efforts to help people. You mentioned Olive Branch. I think they're a member. Um, was I looking online? I forget where I was looking, and I was looking at the people, and they didn't look familiar to me anymore. And I was like, I think Friendship used to be, because I think
They
Norma,
were,
perhaps Norma
yeah.
used to be our representative, and also the Wake Forest Chamber. I think we used
I
to have a
know
representative there.
I know we're not a part of that because we haven't paid for it. Because that's
Oh, was
something
there a
that,
cost? Okay.
oh yeah, yeah, but that's something that I believe we should be a part of, and it's something I'm
Mhm.
gonna be bringing up.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
From just the community roundtable, there were several people that belonged to that under Pastor Holloway. I think he and Marion, and I think Gwen Sneed was a part of that with Joy Shear and Kevin Meese.
Okay.
I think now whether they are still in attendance, I'm not sure. And we throughout Alumni Association, we are working with Mr. Meese,
Mhm.
who is interested in renovating a place on our campus
Mhm.
uh, to put a cafe there. But we're in just a stage where we're discussing it at this point.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So,
Uh,
any thoughts around what has been shared?
I
Uh,
just
I,
say, Pastor, several years ago, I was on the executive board for the Wake Association. I attended that frequently. I mean, a regular attendee there because I was like the liaison for our church. But
Mhm.
as after COVID, it's kind of, I haven't been able to go with my condition. And the church was very active at one point. Uh, I even got a position there as their public relations liaison. Served for 3 years under Dr. Connolly. Uh, and then, it was very interesting. I even attended their associate minister's class, which Dr. Jones at one point taught, Reverend Kirby Jones taught, and
Mhm.
also Reverend Utley from Malva's Crossroads. So, and then being involved there, I did get several speaking engagements from other churches because you were well known in the association. In fact, one guy came to Friendship 2 or 3 months. He was head of the. She said, "Where have you been?" And I, told him since COVID, I hadn't been able to come. But I do plan to try to get back into the association, which I think is very vital because they do offer some good teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Of course, and I'm all about learning.
Okay.
And also, Pastor, I was going to say Holloway, excuse me. Also, Pastor Ely, the Wake Association, that fifth Saturday before the fifth Sunday, that's
Mm-hmm,
our meeting time. So on
mm-hmm.
those Saturdays, we may want to adjust our meeting to the Saturday before or something like that so that we can attend. Because
Sure.
I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
those classes that they have there
Right.
when we used to attend,
Mm-hmm.
but we can't do that now because of our meeting.
I got
So,
you. Yeah. So if we want to just shift it or just during that time we just don't do it, then that's cool. And in that way it can give you that opportunity, and especially because I try to go to them,
mhm,
try, and
mhm,
we can introduce you to these different pastors.
mhm.
Pastor Eden, and two, the annual banquet, we attended that strongly. We would at least 10 to 15 people
Yes. Yeah.
attend that, and that's coming up within this month. I
Yeah.
think is it the
Yeah.
22nd, 23rd,
It,
27th, something like that.
July,
no,
No, it's
it's
in
in August. It's
it's
in
always the
August, August.
fourth Saturday or fourth Friday
yeah.
in August, I think. And it's now being held. It used to be in the hotel
Yeah, it's at
but
Springfield.
it's at Springfield
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
And the church supported it highly,
Yeah. Yeah. We always buy a table.
and you buy a table and you give
Mhm.
people tickets within who are planning to go.
Yes.
Right,
But I know we had a couple of tables just before COVID.
Gotcha.
right. Also, Pastor Elian, what you were talking about in terms of Bible studies and preparing sermons ahead of time. I have always in the back of my mind envisioned times that we as ministers together maybe have a group, a support group where we, like bounce things off of each other, or maybe take a case, this situation, how would you handle it? And so that we can hear different perspectives on different issues. I mentioned I'd had maybe 5 contacts this week as far as opportunity to minister to people. And there were different subjects, from marriage to divorce to grieving, to relationship, just with, regular people, not necessarily a spouse. But there's a lot of issues out there that we
Mm.
need to apply the word of God to.
All right. Can you prepare one scenario for next time?
Sure.
All right.
And Pastor,
Okay.
just to add to what you were saying, I agree with everything that you were saying, and I took stock of it also because I had being not preaching regularly. I went and because I lost a couple of my books when I moved, I went and bought me some new books, and I've been studying, preparing, and looking at different perspectives, styles, and so forth. And basically, a lot of it, what I've been reading so far, is saying exactly what you have been saying. So it confirms it, and I'm the type of person too where not to critique myself, but you want excellence when you present yourself and you represent God. So looking at ways to innovate myself to become more intentional about, especially preparing and going forward and delivering the message. So whereas that can be done with excellence, because everything that we want to do should be done to the best of our ability. So I've been just looking at ways of just trying to um, better prepare and better serve.
Okay.
Pastor Ely,
Yes.
yes. Being talking about being involved in the community, I sent you an email, and I should have talked to you about it before. Prior to COVID, we would come together and go downtown with a prayer session from different churches. And I sent you an email about that. I just want to bring that to your attention. I don't know if that's something that you would like the church to be involved in.
When did you
Uh,
send that?
oh, I sent it. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my sent mail, and I should have followed up. Oh, I sent it July 10th. Um, BA talks about being a network leader for prayer, and it is I think it's October 21st. I'm just scanning there. But check that out to see.
Some reason I just don't see it. So can you resend it?
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts? Anything?
Yes, I will just solicit you all's prayers. I'll be going to Elizabeth City on the fourth Sunday. I'll probably go that Saturday to preach at Olive Branch Missionary Baptist Church. I was probably there for about the last 7 years. After my youngest daughter, Ashley, was at UNC, the Holy Spirit led me from the home church there at Pools Grove Missionary Baptist Church to Olive Branch. So I was there for about 7 years prior to coming back near home, near my roots. So they invited me to come on the fourth Sunday in August. So I feel honored that I was asked, but I guess I've had some mixed feelings. When you're getting older, the driving and all of that. But I have many friends there, so just pray for me regarding that particular Sunday, and that God will use me mightily. I'm excited about that aspect. And when it comes to messages, it's amazing how some of the things that have been mentioned, uh, when the Holy Spirit will lead you back to a message, but it's kind of modified. I think there was a chapter in my life where I felt like once you preach a message, pretty much you just keep on praying for new messages. But I have known God to use me to go back and change and speak on that same message. He knows what the people need to hear. But at friendship, I missed. I feel like we really need to build in the area of prayer, and I know that's something you're working on. I had asked you all to be in prayer for my niece, Yvette, who had open heart surgery that Sunday after the 4th. She was discharged probably Wednesday a week ago, and she's making progress. She's in rehab. But how quick life can change. She's in her early 60s. And I was going to send it to the prayer group. We used to have a group that we would send things to. But I was told that I think you mainly want us on the church center. You don't want us to use some of the texts and email and so forth.
So no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's easier to streamline things through church center, to make sure that people have seen it. But okay, so in the area of prayer, that's something that I've been talking with Reverend Nako about. And so we're supposed to start launching that, the initiatives that he has brought up or put together in August. So, well, which is a couple days. So just, be looking for it. But of
Okay.
course, I mean, share prayer requests, share those different things, of course. And as well,
Pastor,
you can share it with Miss Venus, and they can add to the prayer list that we have.
Okay. Thank you.
Pastor Ely, you have a couple of upcoming speaking engagements, right? Revival
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
at
Uh,
Reverend
uh,
Jones's church, Faith Missionary.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. All right, so let's go to the next part so we can go ahead and close out. It's about
Can I
time.
just ask can I just ask a quick question?
Oh, sure.
You mentioned teaching and different topics and different things like that. Is there any particular way you would like us to approach that? Because I would love to in person during the day or on Zoom or however. I would love to do more of that. Because right now, I'm locked in with Sunday morning with the new members class, which I love. It's never the same. I have the same outline, but depending on who I have is, how I go with it. But other topics is can we just go flow or do we need is there a protocol or anything like that to start doing more teachings and discipleship?
Yeah. So are you talking about doing it through the church, or are you talking about doing it for your own ministry?
Um What's the difference? The church.
What so the difference
I'm
is that
saying the venue, using the church as a venue. I know at home on Zoom I can do whatever, but and it doesn't have to be
yeah, yeah,
necessarily friendship. But
yeah,
so
here's the difference, right? So if you go out like in the name of your own ministry, cool, right? That's no problem. We can see how we as a church can support you individually as a minister. If you're saying let's do, such and such through the church, then I think that that's something that we just need to establish a few parameters around to make sure that it's the same for everybody. So that's why I asked it like that. Yeah. All right. All right. So as we're closing out here, remember we are having revival here, so we're trying something different. Every Wednesday in August, except the first Wednesday will be in revival that is in the building. It will be streamed. And so we'll be calling on you all for scripture and prayer for those revivals. And then on the first Wednesday though of August, we are going to have Bible study, which is online. And then if you are on the program for that, again, you don't necessarily have to be all dressed up. I'm not really concerned about that. As long as you are decent and in order, you are good to go. And then just a reminder, start getting your Bible study together. All right, I will be calling on you to present your Bible study, and that will be on Zoom. Okay, and then just remember that on that Church Center app, it holds everything. And so if you go in there now, you'll see like where it says resources and different things like that. That's where you'll find like the notes from today's lesson, and then other things. And as I come across other resources, I'm gonna just be dropping them in there. I want to fill you up with as much as I can so you can have as much knowledge as you can as well. All right.